So you're new to Genshin, you do a 10 pull on the current banner, and while you don't get a 5-star, you do get 4-star Noelle. Now what do you get with Noelle besides the best maid for the Knights of Favonius and an aspiring Knight of Favonius? Well, Noelle is a Claymore-wielding Geo user whose skill can actually help heal your whole team. I'm Mango, Cassie, whatever the hell you want to call me. And because not everybody is AR60 with 36 star Abyss, I decided that I'm going to try and make videos that hopefully anybody can understand. So if you do learn something, to be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, let's get into this video. Okay, so just like with every single video that we do here, we're going to first look at the build of the character that we're using in this video. One, in case you want an idea for a later build, and two, and in case my character's hitting way more than yours, it might just be the artifact set, the levels, the weapon, whatever the case might be. So let's look at the current Noelle that I am using. Okay, so my Noelle is level 40 out of 50. With 579 attack and 634 defense. Now her defense is higher than her attack, but we will get to that whenever we talk about how Noelle works. Her crit split is 26/136 with 113 energy recharge, and she does have a Geo damage goblet on her. I am using a level 20 white iron greatsword. So she is running a 4-piece marshmallow hunter. This is actually my Dia's artifact set that I use with Dia and Farina. I just wanted to throw it on there to see how it does. She is C3, and we will talk about the first couple of her constellations later in the video, because if you pulled Noelle on the current banner, then you should have at minimum C1, because Noelle is guaranteed on the beginner wish banner. So I will talk about her constellations later in the video. And her talents are 141 because of the C3. Okay, so first we are going to talk about her normal attacks, her skill, and her burst. Okay, so her normal attacks are going to be a 4 consecutive hit, and her charge attacks are going to be like the standard 4-star charge attack where she just kind of turns into a Beyblade and just spins around hitting everything. Now her skill is going to do a couple of things. One, it is going to put this shield up around her as well as hit any enemies that are near her. However, it does have to be very, very close. It's not a large AoE, but anything around her, basically touching her, is going to be hit with an instance of Geo when she puts the shield up. Now the shield is also going to have a chance to heal your entire party based on Noelle's defense. That's why her defense was higher than her attack. So whenever she does the shield, again, a little bit of Geo damage, puts the shield up around her based on her defense, and then it also allows her to heal herself and the rest of the party whenever she does normal attacks or charged attacks. There's a chance. I think at base level, it's like right under 50%. Now we're going to talk about her burst. Now what her burst is going to do is her burst is going to increase the area in which her normal attacks can hit, infuse her normal attacks with Geo damage, and it's going to give a damage increase based on her defense. Another reason to give priority to her defense instead of to her attack. Now we're going to talk about one of her passives. So if we look right here, okay, so right here, her passive is, if she is in the party, but she is not on the field, then whenever your character falls below 30% of their HP, a shield is going to pop up around them, protecting them. Now, it's going to be based on 400% of Noelle's defense, which is crazy, crazy good. That's going to be a really good shield, especially early game. It's going to be a really, really strong shield for your on-field character. And now we're going to talk about her constellations. So C1, which if you pulled her on the current banner, you would have C1, is going to be that when her skill and her burst are both being used at the same time, then the chances of her healing go from under 50% to 100%. So if you use them together, you will always be able to get consistent healing for your entire party when Noelle is using them together on the field. Now, her C2, which might be possible for you to have even as a beginner if you've pulled a couple times on this current banner, is going to be that Noelle's charged attack uses up less stamina and it increases her damage by 15%. So you're going to be able to do more charge attacks or longer charge attacks and do more damage from it. And C3 is going to raise the level of her skill, which is the shield, by 3. That is going to be a standard constellation, is going to raise either the burst or the skill. Okay, so now we're going to talk about an artifact set. For a beginner artifact set, there is one that gets up defense %, and that is Defender's Will. Now, I don't necessarily recommend doing like the 4-piece set. I would probably do a 2-piece Defender's Will and then like a 2-piece Berserker for crit rate or a 2-piece Exile for energy recharge. If you do not have Defender's Will, then just do like a 2-piece Berserker and a 2-piece Exile to get crit rate up and to be able to use her burst more often. For the main stats, you're going to want to do a Defense Sands if you can. For the Goblet, a Geo Damage Goblet. And for her Circlet, a crit rate or crit damage, whichever one you're in more need of. So it is okay to use defense across the board, but if you have the Geo Damage and the crit, do those instead. So for weapon, we do have a couple of options. You do have the 3-star White Iron Greatsword that gets up your defense percent, and its passive of just giving healing to Noelle if she defeats an enemy can be okay. I mean, you're not going to use it a ton, but you really, really want that defense percent. Now, the other option is going to be a 4-star craftable weapon. So White Blind is a 4-star craftable weapon that you get whenever you log into the game, right? You don't have to do a quest to get it or anything like that. You automatically have the recipe to do or to create this greatsword. So it also gets up your defense percent, but its passive is really, really good, right? So on hit, normal and charged attacks increase attack and defense by 6% with a max of 4 stacks. So that is an extra 24% attack and defense on Noelle when you use her normal and charged attacks, which is really, really good, and it's not difficult to keep that up with Noelle. Also, you can get refinements for this fairly easy because it's craftable. So getting this up, I believe it's going to be 12% at R5 with a max of 4 stacks. So that's 48% defense increase, as well as the defense increase that you just get from the Claymore. So this is going to be a really solid weapon for Noelle, even into late game. So now we're going to talk about a beginner-friendly party. So the way that these work is that it is assuming that you do not have any other character besides the free character that the game gives you. So that would be Noelle, of course, as well as being potentially C1 Noelle, Kaya, Barbara, and Zhang Ling. Now you can take out like Barbara and put in Geo Traveler. So my Traveler is currently Dendro and I just didn't swap them all over, but having Geo Traveler can be really, really good with on-field damaging Noelle. We're gonna run this team though to kind of show how she can work. Now the way that this team is gonna work is that you're gonna have Zhang Ling and Kaya doing their off-field bursts with Noelle being your on-field damage dealer. So we're gonna be using Zhang Ling's Pyronado, we're gonna be using Kaya's Icicle spinny thingy that's name I don't know. Barbara is going to be using her skill to have Hydro, so you're going to be causing melt reactions and vaporize reactions, as well as just having Noelle on field, running around, hitting enemies, using her shield, using her burst to keep everybody healthy, as well as herself healthy. But with everybody's off-field damage coupled with Noelle's, you're going to have a lot of damage going around. You're also going to be able to produce the Geo Shards by hitting enemies that are affected by any of these elements. We're going to get these Geo Shards that if you pick it up, it can fill the gap between having her skill ready and not, to where you can have shields up just about all the time. Now, in this beginner guide party, though, I did actually decide to level up White Blind as high as I could and roll some defense artifacts for Noelle. I'm not getting the crit rate buff from Marshmallow, but she's going to hit a lot more in this than she was earlier, just because I was like, you know what? Why not just throw some really good artifacts on her and see what happens? So she's going to be hitting more damage in this than she was earlier. That is going to be it for this beginner guide on Noelle. If you did learn something, do be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the next video.